Is Donald Trump a narcissist?
Total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
A psychological breakdown.
I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life, the least racist person.
Donald Trump is one of the most polarizing figures in modern politics. Supporters see him as a bold, unapologetic leader, while critics argue that his behavior reflects something more concerning: narcissistic personality traits. But is Donald Trump actually a narcissist in the clinical sense? And if so, how does that impact his leadership, decision-making, and the country as a whole? In this video, we'll analyze Trump's early life and how it may have shaped his personality, his business practices, and how they align with narcissistic traits, his public behavior and how it fits with Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD, the risks of narcissistic leadership when someone holds immense power. Let's dive in. Trump's childhood, a narcissist in the making? To understand Donald Trump's personality, we have to look at his childhood and upbringing. Donald Trump was born in 1946 to Fred and Mary Trump. His father, Fred Trump, was a highly competitive and domineering real estate tycoon. According to Trump's niece, Mary Trump, who holds a PhD in psychology, Fred Trump was emotionally distant, demanding, and prioritized winning at all costs. Fred reportedly discouraged displays of weakness or emotion, fostering an environment where dominance and aggression were valued over empathy. According to Mary Trump's book, Too Much and Never Enough, Donald learned that failure was unacceptable and self-aggrandizement was the key to survival. Trump was reportedly a troublesome child, leading his parents to send him to New York Military Academy at age 13, a strict institution that further reinforced authoritarian values. Experts in psychology argue that childhood emotional neglect or excessive praise can contribute to narcissistic traits later in life. This raises the question: did Trump's upbringing create a grandiose, attention-seeking personality as a defense mechanism? Trump's business practices, a pattern of narcissistic behavior? Many psychologists argue that narcissists thrive in high-risk, high-reward environments, and Trump's business career reflects this. Let's examine the hallmarks of narcissism in his business dealings. Exploiting tragedy for self-promotion. In October 1989, a helicopter crash tragically claimed the lives of 3 top executives from the Trump Organization. Following the incident, Trump insinuated that he had narrowly avoided the crash, suggesting he was supposed to be on the helicopter but had changed his plans last minute. However, former Trump Organization Vice President Barbara refuted this claim, stating that Trump was never scheduled to be on that flight. This behavior reflects a tendency to insert himself into events to garner attention and sympathy, grandiosity, and exaggeration. Trump has a history of inflating his net worth, from falsely claiming to be a billionaire to lying about property values. In 2018, a New York Times investigation found that Trump inherited $413 million from his father, despite repeatedly claiming he was a self-made man. Questionable charity practices. Trump has been involved in several charitable endeavors that have come under scrutiny. Trump Foundation. In 2019, the Trump Foundation was dissolved after a lawsuit revealed that funds were misused for personal and political purposes, including purchasing a portrait of himself and settling legal disputes. Children's Cancer Charity. Reports have indicated that fundraising events purportedly for children's cancer charities were used to benefit Trump's businesses, with minimal proceeds going to the intended causes. These actions demonstrate a pattern of using charitable causes for personal gain, a behavior aligned with narcissistic exploitation. Dubious business ventures. Trump has launched several products that capitalized on his brand, but were met with criticism. Trump Steaks, marketed as premium beef, the venture failed due to limited distribution and high prices. Trump University, a for-profit education scam, was forced to pay $25 million in fraud settlements. Trump Network Vitamins, a multi-level marketing scheme selling vitamins, which experts criticize for making unsubstantiated health claims. These ventures reflect a willingness to leverage his name for profit, often without delivering value, indicative of grandiosity and a lack of empathy for consumers. Exploitation of others. Trump's businesses have been accused of not paying contractors, a classic sign of exploitation, a key trait of narcissism. Lack of accountability and blame shifting. Trump has filed for bankruptcy 6 times, yet blames others, the banks, the economy, or his business partners. Instead of admitting mistakes, he attacks critics or claims that he meant to do it. These behaviors align closely with narcissistic traits such as manipulation, grandiosity, and a lack of empathy. Public behavior, classic signs of narcissism.
All the cameras are all watching. Look at all the fake news. They were most of them. We have very stupid people. We have stupid leadership.
The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, lists 9 traits of Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD. A person needs at least 5 to be diagnosed. Let's analyze Trump's public behavior. Grandiose sense of self-importance. Trump often says he is the greatest president, a very stable genius, and knows more than the generals. Insatiable need for admiration. Trump's actions often suggest a deep craving for attention and validation. His rallies and obsession with crowd sizes indicate a deep craving for validation. He frequently praises himself and seeks loyalty from staff and supporters. Social media presence. He frequently boasts about his achievements, often exaggerating or misrepresenting facts to present himself in a favorable light. Rallies and public appearances. Trump holds frequent rallies even outside of campaign seasons, where he often speaks at length about his successes and seeks affirmation from his audience. Lack of empathy. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Trump downplayed deaths, focusing more on his re-election chances than public health. His treatment of disabled reporter Serge Kovaleski, mocking his disability,
Look, you gotta see this guy. I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Showed a clear lack of empathy. In a recent development, Trump proposed relocating Palestinians from Gaza and transforming the area into a luxury resort, dubbing it the Riviera of the Middle East. This suggestion was met with widespread condemnation, with many viewing it as an attempt to displace populations for personal or political gain.
I don't know what's going on with her.
Such
a
nasty woman.
Trust fund. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs.
Disparaging treatment of women. Trump has a history of demeaning women, especially those who question or criticize him. Reporter Megyn Kelly. After being questioned about his derogatory comments towards women during a 2015 debate, Trump insinuated that Kelly's questioning was due to her menstrual cycle, saying she had blood coming out of her wherever. Various female journalists. He has labeled women who challenge him as nasty, losers, or third-rate, often focusing on their appearance or demeanor rather than addressing their questions. This behavior reflects a lack of respect for women and an inability to handle criticism, both indicative of narcissistic traits. Exaggerated achievements. Claims to have rebuilt the military and done more for Black Americans than anyone except Lincoln, both factually incorrect. Reacting poorly to criticism. When criticized, Trump often lashes out, calling the media
Fake news.
labeling opponents as losers or weak, and suing critics. During his presidency, he fired or sideline those who disagreed with him. These examples further illustrate behaviors consistent with narcissistic personality disorder. While only a qualified professional can make a formal diagnosis, the patterns observed in Trump's business practices and public conduct provide substantial evidence of narcissistic traits. Why narcissism in a leader is dangerous. Studies show that narcissistic leaders can be charismatic but dangerous. They prioritize loyalty over competence. Trump often surrounded himself with yes men. They struggle with long-term planning. Quick, impulsive decisions may lead to long-term damage. They create division. Narcissists thrive in chaos and conflict, which Trump has often fueled. Research from the Journal of Applied Psychology, 2020, found that narcissistic leaders often overestimate their abilities, ignore expert advice, and make reckless decisions. Is this the kind of leadership that benefits a democracy? While only a psychologist can diagnose someone, Trump exhibits many traits of narcissistic personality disorder. His childhood reinforced dominance and self-promotion. His business practices show manipulation and a lack of accountability. His public behavior fits multiple criteria for NPD, and his leadership style reflects many dangers of narcissistic leadership. So, what do you think? Does Trump's behavior fit the profile of a narcissist? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into psychology and politics.